I've left the instructions for doing the retargeting in the syllabus. It is step by step. First of all, we need to install 2 plugins in Motion Builder, and there's documentation from Unreal and then also some of my own for getting it connected. The first thing is we need to get the Optitrack streaming plugin from Optitrack's website. Again, this is PC only for both Optitrack and Motion Builder sides, PC only. And we can stream this data into Motion Builder with this executable. It's just a download. It's just a executable. You just install it, okay? Once you have that installed, it's inside of Motion Builder. We've now moved Motion Builder 2020. It's free for students if you sign up. So 2020 is probably the most recent one you want to try. 2022 didn't work well for me. Then Motion Builder has its own user guide for getting everything up and streaming, but I'll show you the most succinct way of doing it. I'm on my own computer, right? I'm on my laptop. I'm not on that computer, right? That computer is next door. I'm going to open up Motion Builder and show you this process. All right. So it's Motion Builder 2020. And again, if we're going to do a real shoot, this is the software to do. Motion Builder is just an unfortunate layout, and I apologize for it, but again, is a standard for how you do things. So again, I'm screen recording this so you can see it back in all its high fidelity later on. We need to first connect the Optitrack devices. Our devices are on this right side. This is where our okay. Well, the projector screen is not showing my cursor. That says AnyDesk isn't showing it, but I'm recording it. Have no fear. Devices is right here, and you see there's 3 Optitrack devices. The bottom one is called skeleton tracking. You just drag it into the window, and then we just need to connect the VPN data. We have our local address, and then we have the address of the server. The server being the computer running Motive, and I am the local address. This, again, is your 0-tier information. All right, so my 0-tier is 242, and that is indeed the 242 right here. I just say go online, wait for it to turn green, hopefully. There you go. Go live, and then create the skeleton. And there, I'm streaming it from the other computer into this computer. I could do this at home. You guys could do this in your apartment. The data's coming in as a skeleton. If you did the radical motion retargeting in Maya, you know about the human IK system where you retarget things. You characterize things as bipeds, and then you retarget them. I need to bring in a 3D model of my avatar for my Unreal project. Again, as we've talked about with Unreal, you don't do V1, V2, V3. You do just one character, and you keep on re-importing it and updating it as you go along. The benefit of that is that we have our most recent character in our live project in Unreal. I'm not doing this to our shared project just yet. I'm doing this just to my own project I've been using this semester that's mislabeled spring. That's how we know it's the right one. Because you guys didn't tell me what year it was when the semester started. You had a chance to correct me, and I was in a fog. So we might remember my friends Ready Freddy, Docs the Third, or whatever. I have some avatars in here already. I'm going to go for Freddy because he already has facial capture set up. And I will take the skeletal mesh, right-click, and then Asset Actions, Export. This will export it as an FBX. I already tested this earlier today, so this is at FBX. But I will override it so you can see the options that we have here. Or maybe I'll just make it a number 2 so I have a backup in case something goes wrong. So Ready Freddy 2, save. And then by default, everything is like this. This is the defaults. I could keep it as the default. Let's make it easy and let's just do it as default to see if that works. It's not what I normally do, but. All right. So now in my downloads, I can drag in that mesh for retargeting. So let's open up my downloads. And he's number 2. Drag it in, and we're going to merge it with no data. And then I have the character standing here. For some reason, his bones are super large. We just need to go into properties, find him in the scene, This is not essential. I just like to make it a little more tidy. It's, for some reason, everything from Ready Player Me is 100 times too big. So let's go through this hierarchy, and we'll just select all branches. Now this is the hips, etc. So select all branches, and go to node settings. Again, this is just organizational stuff. Okay, good. There he is. If we want to, we can say X-ray so we can see the bones. And then I need to characterize it. So I'm going to characterize the hips so that it knows that it's a biped. So I go to my, if you did it the way we did the human IK, you can come up here and say define skeleton. And that's how we did it when we did radical motion. Otherwise, I can just bring up the character and just drag it onto the hips. It might be a little hard here, so I'll just bring it over here and put it on the hips. Just saying, hi, this is a biped. It's not a quadruped. We're not doing cats and dogs. We're doing biped. All right. Now on our list of assets, we have 2 characters. We have a character called skeleton. That's what we named it in Optitrack. That's why it's called skeleton here. I oftentimes rename this into avatar. It's just for organizational purposes. It's not essential. Double click on your avatar and say, I want my input type to be a character, and that character is called skeleton character. Activate it, and you got retargeting. And what's great about doing this in Motion Builder is that you have all the amazing tools that Motion Builder has, where you can match poses, you can help stretch the hands, the fingers. You have the entire suite of motion capture tools that you can use live with your live settings. So this is why this is done in this piece of software. All these different settings are all inside of Motion Builder only. And then the retargeting, but the one that's the most important one is this one called match source. You see my avatar is actually bigger than the data coming in. So the issue is that if we were doing a play and we had a bunch of spikes on the ground, a bunch of pieces of tape, and we had to hit a certain mark specifically, then you actually want to stretch the character so they match, and you say match source. Let's see if it jumps. Not really much. We need to get a different maybe avatar to really show you this extreme. But basically, this match source means that your marks will hit completely. Otherwise, they shift off, right? Because this character is bigger, so as it goes further away from Z, it's going to walk much further away. It's a scaled a transform. But when he's far away and I hit match source, it scoots him in to be with the bones. That's the only one I do, and that's more when you're doing like plays and stuff like that, and not if you're like doing dance or whatnot. So a bunch of settings, tons and tons of settings. I don't even know what all the settings do. And we're ready to go to Unreal. So we go back to our devices, and there is an Unreal plugin. To install the Unreal plugin, and again, this is in all the documentation. Here's this beautiful page. On these computers, whenever you use our computers, this will already be set up for you, so you don't have to worry about it, but this is only if you want to know how to do it for your future projects and on new computers. You need to follow these directions one by one, so you can match Motion Builder with Unreal. Live Link has already been turned on because we were doing face tracking. And then Motion Builder has the plugin inside of the marketplace. So you install into your engine. It's located in this location. And then when you open up Motion Builder, you need to add the SDK. We go to Settings, Preferences, and then I searched for the plugin from that same file path, and I've added it. If you're just doing this for the first time, you will have to restart Motion Builder. What's cool about Motion Builder is if I just save this project as an FBX, it has everything included. It has all my devices. It has all my retargeting. I can just open up this file again, and it will load, and it will work live with a character named Skeleton with this avatar. So I'm going to take this Unreal plugin that I've installed and drag it into the viewport, and there's the interface for the Unreal Skeleton. I'm going to choose the root of the character. The root is actually called armature on the Ready Player Me character. So I'm going to select armature, add it in. I don't need to stream the viewport camera. You can make it so the viewport of Motion Builder matches with Unreal. That's if you're doing virtual camera work in Motion Builder. We're going to bypass Motion Builder, go directly to Unreal. So I don't need that. And then my settings, I want to make sure it's rendering at a consistent 60 frames per second. And then at the very bottom settings, I need to make sure that it's always refreshing. So it's a system down here. You can barely see it. Double click on that. I could say always refresh viewer. Every single one of these settings is in the documentation. So just make sure you do all the steps. I didn't mean to hit that. I hope I didn't mess up everything. All right. And then go back to my devices, Unreal, and say online. If it turns green, so at this point, I can now stream my motion builder to everyone's computers as well. So Optitrack is multicasting, motion builder is multicasting. There's many ways to connect. There's many ways to record. We can record an Optitrack, we can record a motion builder, we can record an Unreal. You get to come up with your own workflow for what's the most efficient way for you to work. Motion builder is running, it's streaming to Unreal. I have the project open still. And then I've already made an animation blueprint for doing the face capture. All right, so if you remember the Ready Player Me, we did morph targets inside of Unreal. Right, we made the two eyes. We did 4 morph targets per eye. So this would right now work with just my phone. I can connect this to the phone I have back there charging, and we can get this working, no problem. If I want to add the motion capture data, if I look in Live Link, there it is, Mobu Live Link. I'm going to put the face first, and then bring in the motion capture. I'm going to add in the source. And there we see we have, it still has the camera, but it's yellow. It's not sending live data. The armature, though, is green. It's sending live data to us. If I choose armature here, I now have Shins in Unreal. All right, and like I told you, if you're getting a new performer, let's see, is the head. I'm wondering if Shin's looking at himself on the TV, or if the head's crooked. No, the head's pretty crooked. I was doing data earlier today. I did not see the head being that crooked. We could adjust this later on. We could adjust this in Motion Builder if we want to. Yeah, that's not natural. It could also be the saved head rotation data. It could also be saved head rotation data from the iPhone. It was a Motion Builder? Okay, so there might be something with the way his skeleton might have broken in Optitrack. But, so now let's have a little fun with this. I'm going to create a new map. I'm going to do this VR basic one, which has some props for us that all have physics enabled. And then I'm going to bring in our animation blueprint. He's stationary. You see if I move him around, let's see. He's not doing anything. But there's a new live link component. If you want to preview animation, which we want to do because we're going to need to get people in place, we're going to look for a thing called live link skeleton, which is right here. And that way it's live before we even hit play inside of the Unreal Engine. In fact, I even thought that they were going to get rid of the play button for Unreal 5, but I guess not. So our data's live. We're not really doing anything. If we took Shin and moved him around, not really having any interaction. But if I were to now hit the simulate button, we can drag Shin around and then it's doing things. All right. So now that you know this is possible, Charlene, can you go to live data, and Shin, would you like to now be in the live world and start throwing bricks around? So the bottom left, you can go, there's edit or live in the bottom left. On the left side. So you can close out that window. That's all fine. And the very bottom left. Very bottom left, there's edit and live. Yeah. There you are. So it gets very confusing as a performer to like try to figure out where everything is. Right now we're looking through AnyDesk, so there's a latency because of the computers, but it's not happening on Unreal. See if you can locate that. Well, I can move you around. See, are we hitting play? Let me hit. Oh, now we're hitting play. Now you can do it. There you go.
Get the ball. Oh, pick the ball.
The ball's gonna be right in front of somebody. Yeah. So this just gives you some more ideas as we're brainstorming how we're gonna do these live plays. It has physics involved, right? And then we're going to get into show control and maybe want him to shoot fireballs. Maybe you want him to blow up. All these things can be live triggered, and just dream them now. And I can show you how to do them later on for the class. And this character could be this dynamic thing that moves around in the world. So we don't really have any more time left, but what I could do another time is I could show you how to spawn a bunch of things that are constantly falling, and then he can just be like batting at it like a cat or whatever. So maybe next week we'll just use the pre-recorded data so that we can get a little bit further on inside of what we can do inside of Unreal. But this was important to let you know that this is live. It's free. It's going to anyone's computer that's on our VPN right now. I'm on the VPN. My computer at home is on the VPN. Shim, what we're going to do is let's let you record one more take. And Charlene, you're going to be in charge of recording. I'm going to reset the scene so that you can destroy it again. And go ahead and give me a T-pose. And then Charlene, you tell me when you're ready. All right, and now we're recording. So go ahead, you can look at the screen and try to destroy the whole world, and we'll have that recorded for later on. Pop and lock and destroy the block. So what's also super cool is if we have a long enough cord to our VR headset, he can actually look down and see himself as the avatar too. Yeah, so when you import it, he gives you these physics volumes around him, and you can design them much more elegantly. But yeah, there's these physics volumes that are basically little capsule collisions. Yeah, it's based off the mesh, the scale of the mesh, and yeah, in the bones. I can help you out. I mean, here, come back here. I can take you anywhere I want to. In fact, if I want to, I can raise you up into the sky, and I could potentially make you simulate physics. Let's see. Is that going to be available? And simulate physics.
Can you rotate it?
Yeah, I got to turn on physics. So now we're just destroying them. Poor guy. And again. All right, you can hit stop. Or T-pose for us. He stopped. Great. And so the scene is over with. So we're recording right now a motive. Next week, I'll show you this thing called Take Recorder, and everything will be recorded inside of Unreal. You'll have all your final animations here, and we'll be back to working in Sequencer, where we're recording live in Sequencer. Then we could do our camera moves later, do our camera moves live, and then we could figure out our workflow for how we're doing everything all together. Cool? So this is where I wanted to show you. This gets us to a pretty good start with Unreal. So let me stop the OBS.